These are the opportunities for us to actually speak truth to power and also do truth to power. Let's talk about some examples. Let's say we are in our classroom, or maybe we're having lunch, or maybe we're having conversations with our colleagues, and a colleague makes a comment about a student that is not a positive comment, that a certain student is always in trouble. One way to speak truth to power, because that adult, that teacher, or that educator has the power to shape the student's life and shape the student's identity, whether it's how people perceive the student or how the student perceive himself or herself or themselves. So one of the things that we could do is to talk with our colleague and redirect that conversation. I know that your perception is that child is always in trouble, but maybe we need to think about what the student's experience is. And why don't we talk about that student by their name and in a way that is solving a problem and not putting that student down? It is the everyday decisions we make, conversations we have that moves things. If we are constantly redirecting negative conversations and reframing them to situate that student in a positive light, then we are speaking truth to power. Because the power isn't just what someone might be saying from a political platform, it's also the ideas and worldviews that we've bought into and that we are actually letting influence how we see one another and how we see students, especially students that may be culturally different from us. So they may be speaking a certain way. They may be responding a certain way. They may be behaving a certain way. If there is a dominant norm that is not the same as the way in which that student or that family member or caregiver is speaking or behaving, we might be quick to label their behavior as a problem, when in reality, the problem is how we're viewing the person, the student, the way in which we are making assumptions about who they are and then assigning value to that. One way we can speak truth to power is through reframing how we or someone else is talking to us about students. I remember being a principal and having a parent call me one evening about their concern about their child and starting the conversation with calling another child a psychopath. I remember having to pause, knowing that I needed to be responsive to that parent and respect that parent's concern, but also speak truth to a power about how we talk about students and say, we're going to pause because I will not allow for you to refer to another person's child as a psychopath. That is unacceptable. And I would never let anyone refer to your child as a psychopath. So let's start this conversation over. I know you're concerned about an incident that occurred. We're going to talk about that, but we're going to do it in a way that leaves each child's integrity intact. If we can't do that, then I cannot have the conversation with you. And we were able to reframe the conversation, talk about the parent's concern for their child without dehumanizing the other child. And so that is an example of doing truth to power in the educational space.